Hey, what's going on today? We're going to check out this Harley Benton R-458MN 8-string multi-scale electric guitar. Well, you need to look at this and ask, isn't it acoustic or electric? I mean, somebody would, but I'm just an idiot. My name is Brian Bauer. If you are new around here, I do guitar reviews and all that kind of stuff. I put out my own music. I have a new song called Faceless Rhino. Its link is below. I'll have a playthrough out soon. I generally speaking like just to have fun, check out new instruments, and just do whatever. You check out the channel. There's all kinds of stuff. You can figure it out from there. But hey, if you do subscribe and all that stuff, much appreciated. Okay, today we're going to talk about what I think is good about this guitar, who I think this guitar is for, the things that I do not like about this guitar. I got it in a mix. We'll just play around, check it out. I'll tell you what I think, and just 8 strings in general, because generally speaking, do not play them. I do want to just say one thing. I have no affiliation with Thomann whatsoever. Because this guitar, that's who sells Harley Benton, if you didn't know. This was loaned to me by my friend Max, so thank you very much. Much appreciated, man. Okay, I'm going to read the specifications out here, mostly because there's a lot, and you know what I'm saying. It's quite a bit. This is part of the progressive series of instruments. It's got a basswood body, a maple neck. It's a bolt-on neck. It's got a maple fretboard. It's got offset inlays, 2 soap bar style humbuckers here, a volume, a tone, a 3-way switch, regular die-cast tuners. But the big thing with this guitar that we need to talk about is that it's multi-scale. And that is going to be the thing that either intrigues you or scares you off. Well, I'm going to say this. Do not let multi-scale scare you off, especially with an 8-string guitar. Let's get into it. Here on the higher strings, it's right down here, it is 25.5 inch, just like a regular Fender Stratocaster. But up here on the low end, it's 27 inches. For a guitar like this, it makes a whole lot of sense because you get progressive tension. You get equal tension across the board. Down here, it keeps these higher strings easier to play, but it keeps the tension up here. You don't want a flubby sound, especially with something with this much range on it. You don't want these being either too flubby with a shorter scale, or these other strings here being too tight and hard to solo and stuff. Now, there are definitely exceptions to this rule. I've seen just regular scale guitars at 27-inch 8 strings, and it works for some people. Keep in mind, I'm not an 8-string player. This fan fret thing was super easy to get used to, so don't let that scare you off at all for a second. Okay, I'm going to get into a bit of the playing here because you got these pickups, and you might be able to do better at 8-string pickups. Keep in mind, you got this low end, so there's a lot of hertz range in this guitar. You have all your regular mid-range, like up here, but we also have this, a good amp or good plug-in, and fitting IR is going to work. This is going to be a metal test today. We're not here to play country and cleans and trying to be tossing a bashy. If I said his name right. All right, let's go through this. I'll just show you some of the range of this thing. Okay, remember how to play my own stuff. So the guitar, you can get a good sound out of it. Most of what's going to happen here is your amp. The good thing is the multi-scale keeps it fairly tight, so that's cool. I'll just play on the neck pickup here a little bit. All right. I just found the first bad thing we're going to talk about here in a second, but we got to fix this. We're going to get to that because there's a fret popping up here, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, all right, neck pickup, middle. Okay, I'm not joining Sleep Token anytime soon, so that was a bit of the summoning. Obviously, just me farting around. Okay, let's talk about the bad things about this guitar, because as you could just see, this E string got caught under a fret. The fretwork on this guitar is absolutely not that great. Like I can feel it. They're kind of rough. I'm not cutting myself. Like, you can do worse. But what I think, this guitar is made out of wood that really wasn't dried correctly, so we got frets popping already. That is kind of what these budget guitars out of China are like. I know people are like, oh, they're amazing, and in a sense, they can be amazing. I wouldn't call this guitar an amazing guitar build-wise, okay? For two reasons. A, the frets are popping on it. I don't think it's that old of a guitar. I don't know when these came out. I don't know when the original owner actually got it. There's somebody else. Another thing, this guitar, I'm going to show it here, the B-roll, is that the actual neck into the neck pocket, while it's somewhat, it's mostly acceptable, it's not that tight. This guitar is worth $244 Canadian. I have a couple other cheap guitars. One very popular review on my channel is the Epiphone Les Paul Special 2. It's a guitar worth around the same as this. And honestly, it's got a way tighter build on this from the factory than this. Like, there's a little bit of a space in this one. I have a PV Raptor. You don't get any space in the bolt-on neck on that. And they're kind of priced. They were kind of all priced around the same. They're all about the same price. I know those are older, but this isn't the best materials. That's the thing. You're buying a budget guitar, and the idea is cheap materials, pump it out fast, cheap price, sell a whole lot of them. It's straight up profit. This guitar is not really worth that much, okay? When from the factory, these are dirt cheap. You were paying a massive markup on it, and you're still getting it really cheap for what this is. But that is the catch. It's cheap for a reason. I'm not going to sit here and judge other Harley Benton products. Like, I have to say this every time, but the cab behind me is awesome. I have not played a more expensive Harley Benton. I've heard a lot of great things, but this guitar, those are my two main gripes with this guitar. Otherwise, we can start talking about some of the good things about this guitar. Okay, it's actually fairly light. It's quite comfortable to play. The neck is super easy to get along with. I really like the Speed D neck on this thing. If it was just made out of a bit better materials, this would be absolute banger. And that's the risk you're gonna take with this kind of instrument, because I know there's people out here have this and have not had a problem. I think the new bone nut is okay. I think it's maybe cut at least decently enough. I'm kind of thinking this one string should sit there a little bit lower, but otherwise it's fine. I'm gonna let that part of it slide. Again, pickups, they do the job. It's perfectly fine in that sense. Now, who is this guitar for? This is for somebody who wants to try an 8-string, a multi-scale, and does not want to pump out, you know, multiple hundreds, or not into thousands of dollars to have something, when you can try this for $244 Canadian. Even with imports, this is still going to be a really affordable guitar to try out an 8-string to see if you like it. And really, if you want to get into it, you go to a store and try the Ibanez and stuff, and I really do think this one plays better. It's also been set up with maybe just, and it's got better strings and stuff on it, but I like this more than this, like the basic RG8s. I'm not gonna compare much else because they should be better built. I think this guitar has a lot of potential. So if you're gonna pick one of these up, just remember there's a risk, but if you're going to get into 8 strings, you can go to the stores and you can try them out and see how it goes. But really, if you want to get into 8 strings, you kind of, or something like this, even a 7 string, you really want to have it with your own rig at home by yourself. Give yourself time to adjust to it, okay? If you want to get into the 8 string thing, if you've been playing 7 strings for as long as I have, adjusting to this is not really a big deal. Okay, one thing to keep in mind, this is any 8 string, not just the Harley Benton. If you're used to a 6 string, which is down here, it's really easy to mute. You get to the 7th string, it's you know, another, just a useful extra string. But this is another beast, okay? There's a lot more to mute. There's a lot more range you're covering here, like in the, like whatever, like the frequency spectrum. There's just a lot more happening. I don't necessarily think everybody needs an 8 string. I don't think everybody sounds good with an 8 string. Hell, I don't even know if I sound that great with an 8 string, but you can check me out in this mix. I hope you guys thought that sounded pretty cool, because I think that sounded pretty damn cool myself. But do 8 strings sound good for everybody? No. Are there people who do it really good? Yeah, hell yeah. Remember, this is the bass. I think, really, if you want to get into this, you need to just try it out. So, for a guitar like this, this is something that's great to try out. If you're really serious about playing the 8 string after a while, I highly do recommend that you just, you know, get a better one. This is a great starting point for an 8 string. And if you are somebody who is younger and starting out with guitar, just get a 6 string, learn on that, master that, then start working your way up with strings. Don't jump into this. You don't need to. If you're used to the 6, you've been playing the 6 for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years, you want to get an 8 string, this might be a good piece for you to try out, especially if you don't have a lot of money. That's where this really shines, because this was not an option back 20 years ago when I started playing guitar. How much more can I fucking ramble? All right, guys. You guys can click the like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and all that stuff. If you like this guitar, and if you got this far, tell me, have you played 8 strings? Do you like them? What do you think about them? Be super cool. I will see you guys all in the next video. All right, see yous.